Hey everybody, I'm Michael Monaco.
And I'm Bobby Salveson, and we are the Hazmat Guys, bringing you the knowledge and insight to make your job a little bit easier and safer. But before today's show, let's listen to our sponsors. From traditional headsets to in-ear communications, Cavcon offers rugged and reliable choices for any communication challenge and any harsh environment. Cavcon's award-winning Talk Through Your Ears technology is specifically designed for clear and consistent in-suit communications. Whether you're working from a quiet control room or responding to an incident in a full level A, Cavcom has the comm system that's right for you. Any suit, any respirator, any radio, any environment. Check them out at cavcominc.com, that's CAVCOMINC.com, or give them a call at 866-547-4988. Hey everybody, we have a great episode coming up today, but before we start the show, we want to share some exciting news from the Hazmat Guys. As some of you may know, we have been working on a hazmat drill book for quite some time, and we're pleased to announce that it is finally available on Amazon. This book was written by contributors from the hazmat community based all around the United States, and we think it will provide a ton of value for both you and your department. The title of the book is The National Emergency Response Hazmat Drills, 50 Drills to Improve Your Team, better known as NERD. No, this was not a mistake. Anyway, the goal of the book has been to help the hazmat community, and we hope that you'll take a moment to check it out and share it. We have the link in the show notes, and if you have a moment, please leave us a positive review in Amazon. We'd be very grateful. We wanted to get NERD on the bestseller list and give more exposure to our community. Again, the book is called National Emergency Response Hazmat Drills, 50 Drills to Improve Your Team, and there's both a paperback and Kindle version available. Thank you, everybody.
Now let's get into the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Hazmat Guys, specifically episode 169. That's my dyslexic ass there. All right, and we are going to be down with a little bit of FGA.
Yeah, FGA, which I did not know what he was talking about until I started. Oh, wait a second. This is those fourth-gen agents that have been all the chic in the late news, right?
Yeah, all the cool kids are using it for assassinations. So
totally,
it's right up there. Yeah, I had honestly until this report came out, which is what we're kind of going to be digesting today, is the fourth generation report done by. It is specifically called the Fourth Generation Agents Medical Management Guidelines, and then there's also a Fourth Generation's Reference Guide in there. So we're going to be kind of digesting that. I'm holding right now, I don't know what it's, maybe 25, 30 pages of documentation put out by the government. So we're gonna go ahead and digest this and. Yeah.
All right, well, before we do, I'm just going to say that I was just recently in Florida. Awesome time, awesome people. Got to hang out with my favorite girl, Christina Baxter. Awesome. She probably doesn't like to hang out with me, but I don't really care.
It's not really hanging out when you follow her everywhere.
It's enduring.
Right.
I don't know who's enduring who, though. I will say that. But great time, great people. We have Wisconsin coming up. We have Baltimore just solidified. Midwest is coming up very soon. A lot of great conferences that I'm in negotiation with, and we're going to be moving along quite a bit this year. I think we're hoping to hit – actually, I'm hoping to bring it down to 12. Last year we did 18.
Well, I'm hoping to step back into the game a little for those of you that weren't aware. I was out of the game for a bit, and I'm getting back into the game. So we will be
good. We
will be floating around.
Yeah, I will be there. He'll be floating. All right, very well.
And as always, if you have any interest in having us come out and do some training for you, whether it's lectures or hands-on, jump over to the Hazmat Guys page and click to see what we can do for you. Shoot us an email.
There's been a whole bunch of that lately.
Yeah, it's actually surprising the amount that comes through. So
good.
Yeah.
Right, well.
And so what is today's date? Today is 1/30/2019. 1/30.
Yes.
2019. And this document was released sometime in January 2019. So if you're listening to this and you're referencing, if information has changed, just understand that this is the information that has come out as of 2019. It was a document that was released by the government specifically. A bunch of different agencies got together, the Department of Defense, the EPA, the ASPR, which is the Assistant Secretary for Preparedness and Response. The CDC stepped in a little, NIOSH, and the National Guard. And they put together this document, and they are calling it, I don't know if they named it or it's really the first time I ever heard it called this, but they're calling this segment of nerve agent fourth generation agent.
Right. So if you've gone back in I don't even remember what number it was, but it wasn't very far back. We went through. I think the specific title was like Novichok.
Yeah, I think it was literally just Novichok.
I think it was Novichok, but the thing is, and if you listen back to that episode, we went through Novichok, which is one of these CWAs that was like all the chic, and these are it's part of that thing. But we are going to go through this document. We're going to touch on some key points, and we're only going to be touching on key points because the document has so much information. So what Mike and myself did is we really boiled this down to the essence, I will say, right? But it's in part, if you listen to the old one, you're going to get a lot of the same information, but with just an update, I'm going to say.
Yeah, well, it's
fresh comedy and jokes as well.
Yes, but we also are just touching on very specific things to the fourth generation, right? Like we're not going to be going over sludgeum, right? Everybody knows what sludgeum is, and honestly,
totally.
At this point, if you don't know how to identify, I can't talk today. Hold on,
that's okay.
All right, get my mouth ready.
Lovely.
If you don't know at this point how to identify a nerve agent via signs and symptoms, you got to go back to some other episodes, okay? We are going to do things like, hey, the signs and symptoms are the same. All right. We want to really focus on the stuff that was different with this fourth generation agent. And there was a couple little differences, but for the most part, a lot of the stuff is very, very similar.
Right. And the signs and symptoms, it just kicked in my head because I'm currently teaching a class right now. And guys, if you haven't checked it out in the Wiser app, which is in iOS and Android, there is I think it's in the tools drop down. You hit something called CHEM, CHEMM, and you can play with symptomology to find the chemistry. So we've mentioned this many times, but it was a question in class, and he just said signs and symptoms. It came to my head. So there's Uncle Bob's little tidbit for the day.
And I will always try to help push the chemical companion as well. That is definitely one. They have a signs and symptoms
bomb
thing as well.
And they
so
actually
check
just.
That out.
Yeah, I'm not going to get into a sales pitch, but she just added a ton of new stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to have to catch up with her maybe very shortly to update the listeners on that. So,
well, hopefully we can get together with her, and in between her calling the police on us and them actually coming, we can get some information.
Yes. We'll scare her, but that's all right. So first off, what is a fourth generation agent? Why is this such a thing? Why is this a big deal? And to be honest with you, just like we said before, they don't know a lot about it. So don't think this information is coming from us, please.
No, yeah, because the United States didn't even make this stuff, right? This is kind of more like the whole Russian type thing. But it was definitely used. It was used in England. It's often called an A series or the Novichok. And yes, we did an entire show on it. I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
So go back and check it out for us talking more about it.
But luckily this episode is from people who actually know what is going on.
Yeah, hopefully. Hopefully.
Yeah, so let's say what we do know about it. First off, let's do some comparisons to, I would say a substance that we kind of understand is VX. Right?
Okay.
Common, nerve agent, right? Mm-hmm. Nerve gas fallacy, nerve agent, true, right? The vapor pressure of it is 0.00067 milligrams of mercury.
For the VX.
For VX, right? Now, that's, depending on what your reference is, that's a lot of zeros and 6.7, right? Now, FGAs, which we're going to call from now on because I'm not saying fourth generation over and over and over, are less than that, right? And just keep it in context, 0.00067. Rock is 0.
Yeah, they didn't. This document didn't actually give the exact amount, but it does reference a time, not a time frame, but it references, well, yeah, kind of a time frame. It says that it will last. It will last in the environment 5 to 6 times longer than VX. So it stands to reason that the vapor pressure is 5 to 6 times less than VX.
Right. That's what something we would call persistent.
Oh yeah, yes, like some of our bosses,
Like
persistent.
Christina.
You're gonna get your ass kicked.
She's going to kill me.
Lethal dose, according to this document, is less than or equal to that of VX, but they don't actually give us a dose. So I was reading through and I was kind of like, crap, like that. I don't really know what the dose is off the top of my head. So we did a little bit of the research, and just for comparison purposes, if you're a 70-kilogram human male, via expose the skin, about 10 milligrams is going to be the LDT50. So that means about 50% of the population will die if you're 70 kilograms and you get 10 milligrams on your skin. If we go to more the vapor side and we kind of do like hey, how long can I breathe this in for? It's estimated that VX is lethal at 30 to 50 milligrams minute per meter cubed.
You know what? That's an interesting one, because a lot of people probably did a retake on what you just said there, because what you would assume for an LD, LC 50, 100, whatever the hell it was, is that you're at the ideal age, instantaneously fatal. But you just put a new spin on it, like saying, yeah, over this time,
yeah, because so much of a dose, right? Anytime we talk about dose, we talk about this is specifically
dose,
like a lethal
time.
Yeah, it is a time, because right, like you're sitting there right now and you've pounded down your third bottle of scotch.
Fourth. It's a slow night.
You're on your fourth. Now, there's a big difference between Bob turning around and going, yeah, I just finished my fourth bottle, and I'll be like, oh, well, you start an hour ago, and
Right.
me going, I just finished my fourth bottle, and Bob goes, oh, that's cute. Is that the fourth bottle you've ever bought in your life?
Right.
So
that's adorable.
that time frame makes a big difference, because if I get pulled over by the cops, I can tell them, yeah, I had 4 shots, but I had it over the course of 7 hours. Is a lot different than I had 4 shots an hour ago.
Right, and I can outrun them at 4.
Yes.
Bottles. All right, anywho. All right, so the pathophysiology is the same as other nerve agents, right? But they do have this passage in the document, which I don't know exactly. We were reading this, and we don't really know how exactly to take this. I'm going to let me get my peepers on, my glasses here. And it says medical providers need to keep in mind that those variables, e.g. the specific agent and dose, including concentration and duration of exposure, physical state of the agent in the environment, routes of exposure, time from exposure to treatment, and underlying medical conditions determine the toxicity, clinical manifestations, and effectiveness of medical interventions. Therefore, a spectrum of clinical events among the nerve agents and among individual patients is expected. That's interesting. You've heard us talk about First Line Technologies' Dahlgren Decon solution and the FiberTech wipes and mitts. They've just come out with Enhanced Decon Systems Kit, which contains everything you need to quickly decontaminate 6 to 24 operators and all their gear in one fully equipped grab-it-and-go bagged. This kit has been hazmat team tested and approved, and it's the only full-team modified decon kit with the power of Dahlgren Decon and FiberTech wipes to counter hundreds of known and emerging threats. The EDS kit is perfect for incidents where a small footprint, low logistics decontamination SOP is appropriate. Are you operating in a harsh environment? No problem. Whether it's minus 10 or 104 degrees F, Dahlgren Decon will maintain its effectiveness and can be easily applied to neutralize threats. The kit is stable in temperatures from minus 40 to 160 degrees F if you carry the RSDL with you. If you use all the consumables in the kit, unlike other rapid deployment kits, you do not need to buy a complete kit to resupply. Just purchase one of the First Line EDS replenishment packs and order just the elements you need. When ounces count and the clock is ticking, grab the EDS kit and go. Call the guys at First Line Technology for more information or a quote at 703-955-7510 or email them at sales@firstlinetech.com.
Yeah, and it kind of, when I first read that, it kind of bothered me because I was like, well, what the hell? You're telling me that there's all these variables, but you're not giving me any information on the variables, right?
Right.
And
a lot of words.
A lot of words. And then the second time that I read the document, I realized that the very and I'll read the purpose of this. These guidelines were developed as part of an ongoing preparedness for all hazards and are intended for supporting fire, EMS, and hospital staff in medical management of patients. And I went, oh, hospital staff is included in this. So because I was turning around going, well, our EMS people, like if you're going to tell us that there's differences, but you're not going to give us any indication like, how to treat because of those differences, then this paragraph is really useless. But if you're talking about getting doctors involved, I'm assuming they're supposed to already know all this?
I would have to concur. You'd have to. There's going to have to be communication, and that's rarely discussed. Like, I've been really on a kick. I really want to make a movie of the affected person from exposure to the hospital bed. Like the travels of that person, everything from this team coming in and pulling them out and putting them onto the decon line, like what it would be from a first-person perspective. It would be a very cool movie. I don't know.
Yeah, because when the shit really hits the fan, the hospitals start to institute their first receiver program.
Right, and they go into like lockdown.
Yeah, they go into this whole big, massive. They got decon quarters set up. They got people who have no idea what they're doing, pretending to know what they're doing. It's really, if you've ever taught a first receiver program, it's pretty involved. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that they have to do and know, but nobody actually continues up on it. So, from a first responder point of view, it can be a little bit chaotic, and I'm sure for them it's a little chaotic because they're literally like, "Hey, janitor, come here. You're going to do decon. Hey, nurse, come here. You're gonna going to do triage, and we're going to put you in these suits that you've never been in before, except for that one time where the fat kid was teaching your class." Right. So but that makes more sense, and some of the other stuff starts to make more sense when you think of it from a hospital point of view.
Yeah. All right. So another section I'm gonna read to you. It says, in general, the latent period between dermal exposure and symptoms onset may be longer with the FGAs than for VX and can be up to 3 days. Inhalation, ingestion, or large dermal exposures will have shorter latent periods. Now, large dermal, understood. Ingestion, understood, because now we're getting inside. But regular dermal exposure, okay, again, I need a little more information. Is it like I got some on my arm? Did I get some on my hair? Is it on my fingertip? Like, because
I got to be honest.
Taught.
Yeah, this was not something that I expected in any way, shape, or form. Because, you watch the videos where they drop it on the sheep, and in moments they're twitching on the ground. So I don't know exactly. I would like to know what that kind of that dose range was, but the fact that those can show up 3 days later, that kind of lends for some interesting thought.
That's like a biological type thing.
Yeah. Or like mustard gas.
That's what scares me, is that delayed operation. Biologicals and these delayed things really scare me because it's very hard to find patient zero or point of source.
Right.
That's difficult now.
Right.
That makes things very hard for us.
Yeah, and there's issues that come along with that. Like what's the big one with the biologicals? Because we don't know what's happening, you have a whole bunch of cross-contamination.
Right. Exactly. We don't know to stop it because we don't even know it's there yet.
Yeah. And if you look at the whole thing that happened over in England,
yep.
Right? They placed that on a doorknob. And the victims were found on a park bench. So, but they never told us like what the time frame was where they think they touched it and they went down. But it does make sense. Like they placed it on the doorknob to make entry. So they made entry into their building. There must have been a decent amount of time before they were like, hey, let's go to the park. And then they collapsed at the same time at the park. So this whole... it just lends to a whole bunch of different like holy craps because it's not instant. There's a time frame involved. There's a time frame involved. There's cross contamination involved, and it's just it could potentially be a huge mess. Now, if really, like, if you look into this, they spent months deconning that area. I think it was probably more than months. It was almost a year, which I guess thinking about this makes sense because they literally cross-contaminated everything that they could have potentially come across.
Yes, it's so true. According to the government, the document, FGAs will stay around on surfaces for up to months. So, some of us are practicing fan decon for high vapor pressure type things. That is a no-go on this one.
Yeah, which makes kind of a really weird scenario, right? Because we talk about in class mustard gas having that delayed effect, being able to bring it back to the barracks or being able to spread it to other people before you know you have it. This is that same thing. You have the time frame of a biological, the ending of a nerve agent, and the cross-contamination ability of mustard gas.
Yeah, that's so weird, man. It's like, God, it's hardcore, man. But there's only been a few human cases, right, that of exposure that we know of. The document does have some comparisons between what has been seen in the lab and what has been seen in the street, right?
Right. Like they mentioned the bronchioconstrictions. And they were saying in this document that for the most part, it was supposed to have been something that you see a lot of, right? Bronchioconstrictions has been a predominant feature of the FGA toxicity in animal studies, but it was not observed in the very limited number of human cases. I'm quoting this directly. If it occurs, bronchioconstriction may be very difficult to manage clinically.
See, I wonder why it's so hard. I mean, like, I'm thinking asthma. Okay, so I mean, we've dealt with that. Intubation and whatnot would be a way to do it, but then it doesn't really fix the FGA toxicity. So
right, I don't know what the reasoning is. They didn't go into that at all.
That's interesting. All right, so another quote is seizure activity has been a prominent feature of FGA toxicity in animal case studies, but has not been observed in a very limited number of human cases. So I guess that's good.
Well, yeah, but think about this. Like, we've all been trained to, see sludge-em. Right? And one of those is the seizures.
Right,
so
seizures.
Now you come across, and I kind of thought about this when they first started releasing information on that English event, because they found the two people slumped over in a park bench. So that means that they were treated as probably unconscious overdoses. Right? Isn't that what you would consider two people
Totally.
asleep on a park bench? Unconscious overdose.
Or just a drunk that has an asthma attack. I mean, so far, nothing's really sending the shivers.
No, but that scares the hell out of me because now these first responders interacted with these people. In their head, they're thinking, well, this isn't a nerve agent because they're not seizing. They're not doing all those things that I would normally expect them to do.
Why would you think?
Yeah,
seriously.
You wouldn't. So just some stuff to keep in mind. Another one is patients may have some, but not all of the signs and symptoms. In some cases, meiosis or pinpoint pupils and the bronchospasms, the severe bronchioconstrictions, may not be predominant or they may even be absent. So just more of this, hey guys, you may not even have a clue that you're walking into a nerve agent.
Yeah, exactly. So, as far as a section of protecting yourself from the exposure, there was nothing new about the FGAs that were any different than the other agents that we've talked about in the previous episodes, or what you would expect, with the following exceptions. Now, they do say handle blood and bodily fluids with extra caution as though they are contaminated with FGA. Limited data is available on the risk, but there are concerns that FGA can persist in bodily fluids, posing a potential hazard to the personnel. So that kind of is reminiscent like Ebola and AIDS, and we're not talking to me, this feels like it's more of a biohazard.
Right.
Like I'm playing the biohazard playbook right now.
Right, but in chemical protective clothing.
But in CPC, right. So I have CPC type symptomology, but I'm playing with the biohazard playbook.
Right.
God.
Right. This is cool stuff. Kudos to whatever Soviet comrade came up with this shit.
Nice comrade.
Nice comrade. Now, there is a little blurb about signs and symptoms for us, and it just is a reminder, and I think it's a pretty good thing to remind everybody that because signs and symptoms can take up to 3 days to actually present themselves, just keep that in mind if you have come across something and days later you start to feel the effects of this. It could take a while.
Yeah.
So it's just something good to keep in mind. And actually, going back to the human waste stuff, there was another line in there that they talked about burning waste. I think we're going to be talking about that a little bit later.
Right. Just push the button.
Which button?
That one, right? Not that one. Not. If you have a moment, please head over to iTunes and leave us a positive review. And don't forget to check out the book, National Emergency Response Hazmat Drills, or NERD, on Amazon.
Well, that wraps up another episode of the Hazmat Guys.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channel at The Hazmat Guys. And take a moment to call our comment hotline at 843-628-1484 and go to www.thehazmatguys.com and sign up for the newsletter.
We seriously look forward to your feedback about any of the information provided, and we also want to hear about interesting incidents that you were a part of. So you can send us a note at feedback@thehazmatguys.com. And remember, any of the information that you share with us, if we put it on air, can always remain anonymous.
Remember, guys, don't just get on the job. Get into the job.